Please stand for the arrival of the official party and remain standing for the national anthem by Master Sergeant Antonio S. Giuliano and the invocation by Chaplain Kenneth R. Williams, Jr.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
I invite you to join with me in prayer as we ask God's blessing over this ceremony and thank Him for these outstanding servants. Gracious and merciful God, provider of our needs, the one who supports us and defends us, I thank you today for providing our nation, our Army, with such outstanding servants as Miss Morton and Major Loudon. Through their character and credibility and competence, they have demonstrated expertise, phenomenal expertise in managing resources and providing our soldiers with the skills and ability and technology to defend our nation. Truly, their work and the many waves that and ripples that their work has impacted, soldiers are successful, safe, and secure, as well as all those that we love and care about. So may we follow their example of commitment and dedication in ensuring that all of our resources, financial, material, cyber, our soldiers, human resources, that they're all used effectively and efficiently to protect our nation and our soldiers. God bless our forces around the world, all our senior leaders. God bless the Army, and God bless America. Amen.
Please be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Wada.
I'm gonna cheat. Go this way. Wait, I think this is the short speech. I should have put the long one. No. Just kidding. Good morning, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us for this great event. Vince Lombardi once said, quote, "The price of success is hard work, dedication to the job at hand, and the determination that whether we win or lose, we have applied the best of ourselves to the task at hand." Today, we recognize the success of two individuals, Ms. Ann Morton and Major Bradley Loudon, for the application of their hard work, dedication, and determination. On behalf of the Secretary of the Army, it is my pleasure to present today's awards. The Pace Award is named for Frank Pace, Jr., who was the Secretary of the Army from 1950 to 1953 during the Korean War. He was, by all accounts, the quintessential public servant and an accomplished private citizen. Frank Pace started his government career like many of his generation did, serving in the Army during World War II. He served in the Army Air Corps Transport Command, where he rose to the rank of major. After the war, he continued his public service in high-profile positions in the Postmaster General's office, the Attorney General's office, and of course, the Secretary of the Army under President Eisenhower. Frank Pace went on to excel in the private sector, serving in a series of executive positions with General Dynamics that culminated with his role as the president and chairman, where he worked until 1963. In 1968, he was the first chairman appointed to the Public Broadcasting Corporation by President Johnson. It is in the spirit of his professional success as an American public servant that the Army established the Pace Awards. This award has been presented annually since 1962. I know some of you haven't been born yet. To one of the Army officer, lieutenant colonel or below, and one civilian employee, GS or GM 14 or below, who are assigned to the staff of Headquarters Department of the Army. Recipients of this award contribute significant improvements in an Army service area, realize sizable financial savings, or they enable the accomplishment of a major technological or military development. Our awardees have certainly accomplished those requirements. Today, we are here to celebrate the achievements of these two extraordinary individuals whose service is clearly in the spirit of Frank Pace. These two public servants, Ms. Ann Morton and Major Bradley Loudon, looked at the areas they worked in, asked difficult questions about how we are doing the business of the nation, and thought the Army could and should do better. It is in this spirit of transformation that many of our future capabilities have been created, through experimentation, innovation, and by simply pursuing better ways to accomplish the mission. Ann Morton works in G8 Program Analysis Evaluation Directorate, Program Budget Data Management Division. That's a long way of saying she's in charge of all the resources. Ann was instrumental in implementing the first Headquarters Department of the Army Enterprise Data Warehouse that supports the Army's planning, programming, budgeting, and execution process. If she got paid for all those words, gosh. That's right. She also developed methodology for reviewing, analyzing, prioritizing, and determining funding requirements for all Army programs. Her work has saved the Army more than $15 million annually. Ms. Morton is an example of how federal employees are stewards of our taxpayer funds. Major Bradley Loudon is an armor officer assigned to G357, Operations Directorate, Cyberspace and Information Operations. He has deployed twice to Iraq and now coordinates complex cyber issues with senior Army leaders. His efforts directly contributed to the establishment of the Army Cyber Mission Force, the Joint Command and Control Cyberspace Structure and Workforce Strategy, and the Army Cyber Center of Excellence at Fort Gordon, Georgia. I think they're really trying to make me tongue-tied here. He also coordinated the establishment of the Army Cyberspace Council to direct Army cyberspace policy and strategy, and his contributions in the cyber arena have set the stage for the Army's success. Both Ms. Morton and Major Loudon had the vision to see that things could be done better, the skill to articulate and plan change, and the commitment to improve the Army. We certainly will require leaders like Ms. Morton and Major Loudon in the years ahead, and I'm thankful that they have chosen to use their talents and dedication in service to our nation. As we all know, they have achieved their success because of the love and support of their families who are with them today. Major Loudon's wife, Courtney, and his daughters, Peyton and Presley, are here with him, and Ann's father, Jack, are here to support her as well. And I want to thank them for their support of Bradley and Ann. Thank you. As an Army and as a nation, we have many challenges ahead. While we celebrate Ann and Bradley's success today, I hope that their examples should challenge all of us to work to find better ways to do the business of the Army. I encourage senior leaders to recognize the need for innovation and creative thinking, and to give our junior officers and civilian employees the opportunity and freedom to challenge outdated thinking, policies, and systems. All of us have the opportunity to shape the future Army, and we can do so by nurturing our future leaders. President Kennedy once said, quote, "Things do not happen, things are made to happen." Let us use Ann and Bradley as examples of how to make things happen for the betterment of our Army and for our country. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in recognizing these two outstanding members of the Army team.
The Pace Award was named after the Honorable Frank Pace, Jr., former Secretary of the Army, and established in the early 1960s by a group of distinguished private citizens interested in providing recognition annually. The recipients serve in a staff capacity at Headquarters Department of Army and have made a contribution of outstanding significance to the Army. There are two recipients of the 53rd Annual Pace Awards. Ladies and gentlemen, please remain seated throughout the presentations. The first awardee is Miss Ann M. Morton from the Office of the Deputy Chief of Staff, G8. The Department of the Army 2014 Pace Award for Exceptional Service is presented to Miss Ann M. Morton for her significant contributions to the Department of the Army during calendar year 2014 as an Information Technology Specialist. Program Analysis and Evaluation Directorate, Office of the Deputy Chief of Staff, G8. Ms. Morton defined requirements, designed and implemented the first headquarters Department of the Army Enterprise Data Warehouse that supports the Army's planning, programming, budgeting, and execution process. In addition, she developed a methodology for reviewing, analyzing, prioritizing, and determining funding requirements for all Army programs. Her efforts have saved the Army more than $15 million annually, or about $90 million over the 6-year cycle of the Program Objective Memorandum. Ms. Morton's outstanding accomplishments are in keeping with the highest traditions of government service and are a great credit to her, the Office of the Deputy Chief of Staff, G8, and the Department of the Army. Signed, the Honorable John M. McHugh, Secretary of the Army. Ms. Morton is now receiving an engraved pen set.
Where's the pen?
Thank you, Ms. Morton.
We're going to give you the pen with it.
The next awardee is Major Bradley S. Loudon from the Office of the Deputy Chief of Staff, GS 357. The Department of the Army 2014 Pace Award for Exceptional Service is presented to Major Bradley S. Loudon for his significant contributions to the Department of the Army during calendar year 2014 as Cyberspace Plans Officer, Operations, Readiness, and Mobilization Directorate, Office of the Deputy Chief of Staff, G357. Major Loudon coordinated complex headquarters, Department of Army cyber issues with senior Army leaders for decisions that created the organization, command and control, and institutional support for the Army cyber forces. His efforts directly contributed to the establishment of the Army Cyber Mission Force, the Joint Command and Control Structure for Cyberspace, the Army Cyber Center for Excellence at Fort Gordon, Georgia, and the Army Cyberface Workforce Strategy, including the establishment of the 17 Series Cyber Branch. He also coordinated the establishment of the Army Cyberspace Council to direct Army cyberspace policy and strategy. Major Loudon's outstanding accomplishments are in keeping with the highest traditions of military service and are a great credit to him, Office of the Deputy Chief of Staff, G357, and the Department of the Army. Signed, the Honorable John M. McHugh, Secretary of the Army. Major Loudon is now receiving an engraved pen set. Miss Morton, please join Miss Wada and Major Loudon in front of the flags. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give a big round of applause to the 2014 Pace Award winners. Thank you, Miss Wada, Miss Morton, and Major Loudon. Please stand and join in the singing of the Army song. The words can be found on the back page of the program.
Let's make a lot of noise with this great song, please. March along, sing a song with the army of the free. Count the brave, count the true, who have fought to victory. We're the army and proud of our name. We're the army and proudly proclaim. First to fight for the right and to build the nation's might, and the army goes rolling along. Proud of all we have done, fighting till the battle's won, and the army goes rolling along. Then it's hi, hi, hey, the army's on its way. Count off the kids loud and strong. 2, 3. For wherever we go, you will always know that the army goes rolling along. Army strong, who?
Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes today's ceremony. You were invited to congratulate the winners in the receiving line. Thank you.